Down the stretch they come!
Welcome back to Down the Stretch. For the new viewers, I'm the host, Christopher Charlton. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Hit that like button. Leave a comment and share. It's the big day. It's Moutte Mild Day. December 6, 2025. And what a program this is. This is one of the hardest programs I've tried to handicap. I'm going to do my best to narrow it down. Let's get right into it. It's a very interesting 11 race card. The first race, this is the Have I'll Go With More GWN Trophy. 6 furlongs, 3-year-old maiden. Big field of 16. And I've boiled it down to 4. They're going to be the 4, Bad Tanisha. The 11, Nebuchadnezzar. The 14, Papi Uso. And the 16, Good Conscience. Okay, Bad Tanisha. Richie Shakes claiming 2 kilos here for Robert French. Running fair races. Last 3 starts, 2 seconds and a third. Last time out, 5.5 furlongs. After fractions, stayed on to finish third by 11 lengths to Star Aura, who won by 9.5 lengths. Money Mission, who is present, was second that day, but that was at 5.5 furlongs. Before that, Bad Tanisha going 6 furlongs. Tried to make all the running, but was caught in deep stretch, beaten a length and a quarter by True Blue. So coming fit, gets lay 6 now for the first time. Already ran well over 6 furlongs. This filly definitely giving her a shot in this event. The horse I think they have to beat though is going to be the 11, Nebuchadnezzar. Now, Nebuchadnezzar was a highly thought of youngster, was a hopeful classic aspirant, but did not develop in time. Before his last run, his only good run was back in March, going 7.5 furlongs, when staying on second by 6.5 lengths to Uncle Harry, finishing in front of Roaring Kitty. Then lackluster performance, but last time out now, the 15th of November, recently, 5 furlongs straight, a bit short for Nebuchadnezzar, chased a very out-of-class looking formalist, beaten 5.25 lengths, second, and he was the further 6 lengths in front of the third horse. So gets TJ Suku to claim 3 kilos off of the top weight of 126 pounds for Anthony Nunes. Has worked well since his last run. 5 furlongs straight out the gate, 102 and 2, first 4 and 48. So this Nebuchadnezzar looks to be maturing at the right time, and I think is the horse they're going to have to beat. The 14, Papi Uso, Dane Nelson riding here for Anthony Nunes. So this is Nebuchadnezzar's stablemate. 3-year-old colt, lacks early pace. Useful horse, but lacks the early pace, and when he gets going, the race is generally over. Good run last time out at 5 furlongs run. I think it was a sharpening up run. Came from off the pace, finished third by 4 3/4 lengths to Almastelis and Diesel Train. So ran against imported horses in that race. Before that was 6 by 15 lengths to Formulis and Nebuchadnezzar. So I think 6 furlongs, much more suited to this Papi Uso. Probably wants a little longer, but against Maiden and with a top jockey like Dane Nelson in the saddle, even from 124 pounds in the scales, if the pace comes back in the stretch, this is the horse that will be finishing the fastest, in my opinion. And the 16, Good Conscience, Richard Henry, giving 3 kilos here for the very astute Robert Pearson. Last time out was back in October, 7 furlongs, finishing second by 12 lengths to Speedy Rush of Class. Before that, tried to pick out the running at 7.5 furlongs, caught near the finish by He's Sensational. Had slam shot 8 lengths behind in that race. So Good Conscience, freshened up for this race. Does have some tactical speed. Drawn outside, so I think Henry's going to have to try to get him out early and get him right in contention before they hit that half-mile turn. Has worked well coming into this. On its 22nd of November, 6 furlongs in 119.2. Last workout, the 29th of November, 5 furlongs straight, 103. First 4 and 48 flat. So Good Conscience definitely coming here to run and probably going to be in contention from the word go. Definitely should fight this out. For the long shot players, you want to throw a long shot in it. I'm going to go with the one horse, Money Mission. Money Mission, in my opinion, from this one hole, is probably going to be the fast horse in the race. The horse they're going to have to be chasing from the gates open. Javanil Patterson has the ride once again for Oral Hayden. Last time out, over the straight course, was prominent all the way to the furlong pole, second by 2 lengths, then faded to finish fourth by 6 3/4 lengths to ascend. And Dark Swan before that, though, tried to make all the running, but caught by out of class looking Star Aura. Had some equipment problem coming off the turn. You saw Javanil Patterson trying to fix his irons, turning for home, still managed to run second, finishing in front of Bad Bad Tanisha. That was at 5.5 furlongs. So 6 furlongs might be a stretch, but being, in my opinion, the speediest horse in the race and the horse that they might have to catch, I'm going to definitely squeeze him in to put in the exotics. I kind of like the run that Nebuchadnezzar ran recently after break, and I'm going to give him the edge. The second race, this is the Visit Jamaica Trophy. Native bred 4-year-olds and up, non-owners of 2, and imported 4-year-olds and up maiden. Big field of 15, they go 6.5 furlongs. Very competitive race, hard race to work out. I hope I get it right. Going to boil it down to 4. They're going to be the 1, Never, the 2, Successful Man, the 6, Dancing Aviator, and the 13, Racola. Okay, Never. Dane Nelson riding here for Patrick Lynch. Never, in my opinion, should have left this class already. But something went wrong last time out, back on the 14th of September, going a mile. Prominent early, faded to finish 7 by 22 lengths to Monster Vigorous. Hickory Slim was second there. Hickory Slim has come back to win. Before that, though, the 6th of August, 6 furlongs, was second by 3/4 length to Military Light. So, Never. Once the right Never turns up, equipment change, the visors off, blinkers on, figure 8 off. Has run most of his races in the visors and figure 8, so Patrick Lynch trying something new, and if it works, I think Never definitely should have a say in the finish. The 2, Successful Man. Radish Roman riding here for Earl Burke. Last time out at 7 furlongs, finished fourth by 5.5 lengths to Bobby Too Bad, who made all the running there. Before that at 9.25, second by a length to Papi Dan. I think going to find 6.5 furlongs more to his liking. His last start at 6.5 furlongs was back in June, when finishing second by 3/4 length to Solace. Had Cherry Blossom behind here after coming out of the gate slow. One of the pacier horses in the race. So with the champion jockey retaining the ride here, this Successful Man again should put in a decent run and can possibly fight this race out. The 6, Dancing Aviator. So this horse has disappointing in his 2 starts for the season. On the 15th of November, 5.5 furlongs, 2 to 5 favorite, finished 8 by 19 lengths to Global Machine and Captain Fantastic and Little Maggie. Those 2 are present today. Then came back a week later, 4 furlongs straight, disappointed again at 8 to 5, finishing 6 by 13 lengths to Lucy on the Go. But just the fact that Jason DaCosta has brought this horse back so quick on the big day, Abigail Abe in the saddle claiming 3 kilos, and he has now put the tongue tie on this Dancing Aviator, who does have a lot of speed, this well-bred filly. Wouldn't surprise if Dancing Aviator steps it up this time around and puts in a big run. Definitely want to keep your eye on. And the 13, possibly the horse they might have to beat, that is going to be Racola. Shane Ellis in the saddle here for Michael Marlowe. Ultra consistent. Last time out at 7 furlongs, second by a length to Bobby Too Bad, who got away with a lone speed advantage. Before that was second by a short head to Have a Joy at 7.5 furlongs. His last window in maiden condition was at this distance, winning by 6 3/4 lengths back in September, beating Empress in the Breeze, who has come back to win twice. So Racola, as the big man in the saddle, definitely fit, coming to run, drawn outside, does have good early pace to be in contention, and I think that's the horse they might have to beat. Long shot players want to squeeze a horse into the exotics. I'm going to put in the 5 as a dangerous horse to keep an eye on. That is the Queen Bee, imported filly. Clive Lynch riding here for Dale Murphy. Only 3 starts to date. None of the race is really good, but I personally think this horse has a ton of speed. She's bred for a lot of speed. She has shown it in her races before fading, but has been freshened up for this race. Last start was the 23rd of August, going 7 furlongs. Was prominent all the way to the top of the lane before fading in that race with Himalaya. So freshened up for this. Busy at exercise, working fairly well. Morning line says 25 to 1. Definitely, I think a horse with pace probably gets that lead from the gates open, and going to squeeze her in the exotics. The third race, this is the Mayberry Gold Trophy. nature bred 3-year-old and nature bred 4-year-old nunners of 4 and imported 3-year-old and nunners of 3, Division 1, a field of 10, they go 7 furlongs, boiling this race down to 4. They're going to be the 4, Linguist, the 6, Nuclear Jet, the 7, Fred the Master, and the 9, Miss Money Penny. Okay, Linguist. Dane Nelson riding here for Anthony Nunes. So Dane Nelson on some live rides. Linguist, the Oaks winner back in August, has run fairly well since, stepping up to overnight allowance on the 20th of September, going 6.5 furlongs. Made a move, was the leader coming to the furlong pole by 3.5 lengths before being outkicked by Perfect Brew. Came back at a mile in overnight allowance, just after fractions, made a move again, but finished third by 6.25 lengths to the 2 drop-down horses in the race. Is That a Fact and Run Julie Run, so not embarrassed there. But last time out, going a mile again, made a move, second at the top of the lane, but faded badly to finish 6 by 21 lengths to Main Mistress. But Anthony Nunes probably gone back to the drawing board now to see what went wrong there. 7 furlongs, probably more to the liking of this Linguist, who does have nice stalking pace. Probably makes a nice move, leaving that half-mile marker, and should run herself well. The 6, Nuclear Jet. This is a horse. I like this Nuclear Jet. This was the horse I bought in the Derby. Disappointed. I didn't think he ran how he should. I think this Nuclear Jet is definitely a pace horse. He is a free-running horse, and they tried to hold him up in the Derby. Faded to finish 12 by 29 lengths. But last time out at 6 furlongs, ran how he likes, went out early, right to the leaders, and kicked away to win by 4.5 lengths, beating Danka and Fred the Master. Stretching out to 7 furlongs now. His other win back in July was at this distance when making all the run to win by 15 lengths. So definitely a horse with a scope for a ton of improvement. Nicely built, well-conformed colt, and expecting another good run from this Nuclear Jet. But the horse they're going to have to beat is definitely going to be Fred the Master. Robert Haldane riding here for Jason DaCosta. Coming off a long break last time out at 3-5, ran up into the fit Nuclear Jet. Better for that run now, has worked brilliantly since. Beat Dothraki on the 24th of November at Exercise in a smart 6 furlongs in 1:13.1. Then came back, Dothraki turned the tables in a big way on him on the 30th of November. He worked 1:28, Dothraki worked 1:25 and change. So Dothraki beat him by more than 10 lengths last workout. But that's I think was just an easy work for Fred the Master preparing for this race. He didn't really want to drill him too hard. And now better for that last run. I think Fred the Master is definitely the horse they're going to have to beat. And the sleeper in the event, in my opinion, is going to be the 9, Miss Money Penny. Omar Walker riding here for Jason DaCosta. So stablemate of Fred the Master. Well, I think, in my opinion, she's going to be the horse that they're going to all have to catch. Threw in a clinker last time out at 5 furlongs straight. Never in it whatsoever against horses that she has beat before. Finished 6 by 9 lengths to Wayne's Sherry Links, High Sloot Square, and Danka. But before that, had a nice win at 6 furlongs, making all the running, winning by half length from Lockdown. And Mighty Gully has come back to go up to overnight allowance and win. So that's saying a lot for the chances here of this Miss Money Penny, who is going to be out on that lead. So it's catch her if you can. Has worked well coming here. 22nd of November, out the gates, 5 furlongs straight, 59.4, first 4 and 46.1, beating up I Dream again, and then has cantered all the way back to this race. So she's going to be the fleet-footed horse on the front end. So that's the dangerous horse in the event if they allow her to slip away on the front end. But as I said, Fred the Master, in my opinion, is the horse they're going to have to beat. The 4th race, this is the Excelsia Trophy. Nature bred 3-year-old and 4-year-old, nunners of 4 and imported 3-year-olds and nunners of 3, Division 2, 10 starters. They go 7 furlongs, boiling down to 4. They're going to be the 1, Don Quessy, the 3, Miss Grove, the 5, Rico, and the 8, American Aviator. Don Quessy, Demar Williams claiming 2 kilos here for Barrington Bernard. Disappointed last time out, 5.5 furlongs, 9-5. Wasn't able to get in contention early and faded to finish 4th by 11 lengths to the vastly improved Mighty Gully. But before that, brave run at 7 furlongs. Looked the win at the furlong pole before being caught by H2O. Had a win back on the 14th of September, going 5 furlongs round, winning by 2 lengths from T Swizzle. Stretching out to 7 furlongs, I think this is more to the liking of Don Quessy. Naturally pacey and should put in a decent run with his natural pace. The 3, Miss Grove, Radish Roman riding here for Anthony Nunes. Freshened up last time out, going 7.5 furlongs. Put in a decent run, second at the top of the lane before being outkicked in the stretch to finish 4th by 5 lengths to the very improved My Identity and American Aviator. Capable. The distance looks just about right. Last win was at 6.5 furlongs when winning by 2 3/4 lengths from Princess Chris. Then came back and was second by 9 lengths to Ride All Day. So this Miss Grove, off of that tune-up run last time out. Radish Roman in the saddle. Expecting another good showing from this imported filly. The 5, Rico. Javier Castellano, Hall of Famer, jockey, in the saddle here for Jason DaCosta. Has been trying to find his way since returning in October. Was 5th by 4 lengths over the straight 5 course to Unruly Mo. Then came back at 5.5 furlongs. Faded to finish 6 by 13 lengths to Mighty Gully. But last time out at 7.5 furlongs, prominent for most of the way before finishing 5th by 7.5 lengths in that same race in My Identity. Much better for those 3 starts. Jason has now put the blinkers on this Rico, so I think he wants to go hard early. Trained well coming into this, has a nice 5 furlong workout on the 1st of December in 1:01 and 3. I think we're going to see probably one of the better runs from this Rico. But the horse I think they're going to all have to beat is going to be the 8, American Aviator. Tevin Foster in the saddle for Jason DaCosta. Pacey Sort, last time out, 7.5 furlongs, second by 3 lengths to the improving My Identity. Before that, tore away on that lead, going 7 furlongs but faded, beaten by his stablemate H2O. Don Quessy was second there and had also good run at a mile when also tearing away, but then caught by My Identity. I think this time around he won't be tearing away on that front end. I think he's going to be more rated with the big weight. Has worked well coming into this on the 15th of November, 6 furlongs 117, and last workout 1st of December at easy 49. Naturally speedy. I don't think the distance is a problem, and I think he's the horse they're going to have to beat. The 5th race, this is the Bright Star Trophy, 3 and up, claiming 1.5 million to 1.2 million. Big field of 13, they go 6.5 furlongs. Very competitive race, going to be a very tactical race, so I'm going to have to boil it down to 5. They're going with the 4, Further and Beyond, the 5, Kem, the 9, Ability, the 10, Rani Bangala, and the 13, the Head Cornerstone. Okay, number 4, Further and Beyond. Without a doubt, this is the back class horse in the event. Former Jamaica Cup winner, classic runner. Last year was the local horse to finish 4th in the Mout Mile. Has not turned up since that Mout Mile run, and he's taking his first step down the claiming ladder. Comes in at 126 pounds, but Josh Edwards will claim 4 kilos for Ian Alexander. Nothing to really work offer Further and Beyond more than his back class, but kept busy at exercise, and if reporting 70% to his best ability, he will be a loadly winner in this event. The 5, Kem, Dane Nelson riding here for Paul Swaby. 6 by a length and a half, last time out to Ridgeliner over the straight 5 course. Before that, a disappointing run, going 6.5 furlongs, 9th by 23 lengths to the Head Cornerstone, and before that, 9th by 25 lengths to Ride All Day. Had a win at 6.5 furlongs back in July. Overnight allowance, making all the running, winning easily from the Head Cornerstone. So this Kem, once the right Kem turns up and is allowed to dictate terms or be comfortable near the front end, should once again put in a very good effort. The 9, Ability, former Derby winner, and was also second in the Mout Mile to Rough Entry. She has also gone backwards somewhat, probably having issues, but had a win recently in September at 1.5 million claimer, 7 furlongs, winning by 4 3/4 lengths from Sonny T and Chippy, who is present. Last time out, November 23rd, 7.5 furlongs, was a no-show, 8 by 17 lengths to Digital One, who is a drop-down horse. So coming here, Emilia McLean claiming 3 kilos for Fitzgerald Richards, does have some back class, does have nice stalking ability. 6.5 furlongs is not going to be a problem for Ability. Kept busy at exercise, expecting a honest showing from this Ability. The 10, Rani Bangala, Tevin Foster riding here for Jason DaCosta. Morning line says 15 to 1, but this horse is very consistent, has 4 consecutive seconds, so knocking at the door. Was second by a net last time out at 7 furlongs at this level to Sonny T and Chippy. Before that was second by 14 lengths to the Head Cornerstone. That race kind of have an excuse for Rani Bangala. Had a very bad start and was left at the back of the field, and the Head Cornerstone managed to get a very easy advantage and stole it. So even though 15 to 1 morning line, Jason DaCosta has now put the tongue tie back on this Rani Bangala, and from a clean break, expecting a much better showing against the Head Cornerstone. And the 13, the head cornerstone. Paul Francis riding here for Ryan Darby. Disappointing in his last two starts. Stepping up to overnight allowance. Last time out, 7.5 furlongs. 7 by 11 lengths after being early in the pace to Digital One before that. Off the fractions and finished 5th by 8 lengths to Is That a Fact. So beaten by out-of-class horses those last two starts. But before that, at this distance, at this level, was an easy 14-length winner with 126 pounds in his back. Comes back here, 124 pounds. And if allowed to get to that lead and not harassed, probably proves a tough nut to crack, although I don't think that will happen because there is speed in the race. But definitely the head cornerstone should be in here with a good shot as any. Long shot, you want to throw into your exotics. I'm a sucker for lone speed, so I'm definitely going to throw in the 11, Smart Trick. Even with 124 pounds, but does have the champion jockey Radish Roman in the saddle for Anthony Nunes. Win the last time out at 5 furlongs round for 4-year-old non-winners of 4. So 1.5 million claimer, basically the same class. The distance does look taxing for Smart Trick, but it's still a sprint distance and, in my opinion, represents the lone pace horse in the event. So if Smart Trick is allowed to get to that lead and not be tested and gets to relax, leaving that 3 furlong marker could prove a very elusive target. So I'm definitely squeezing Smart Trick in as a danger horse on the front end. But as I said, if Further and Beyond turns up 70% to his best ability, he's the horse they're going to all have to beat. The 6th race, this is the Renaissance of Kingston ROC Trophy. Nature bred 3-year-old, downwards of 2 imported 3-year-old and up maiden. Big field of 16, they go 7.5 furlongs. Another very, very competitive and tough race to handicap, but going to boil it down to 4. They're going to be the 3, Pretty Brown Thing, the 6, I'm Outstanding, the 9, Star Aura, and the 11, Diesel Train. Okay, Pretty Brown Thing. Natalie Berger, claiming 3 kilos here for Edward Stanbury. Useful filly, tends to like to do her running from off the pace. Last time out, came from far back to finish 3rd by 6 3/4 lengths to Hazelnut. That was at 6 furlongs. Before that at a mile, start the pace, stayed on to finish 3rd by 5 lengths to Princess Chris. Slam Sharp was in front of her there. And at 9 furlongs and 25 yards was 2nd by half a length to Big Buzz. So Pretty Brown Thing, definitely capable, getting this 3 kilo claim. And if the pace comes back in the stretch, this is the horse that will be finishing like a bat from hell. The 6, I'm Outstanding. Bebito Harvey, riding here for Peter John Passad. Pulled up lame last time out, the 25th of October, going 7.5 furlongs. But before that, had 3 consecutive seconds, going 6 furlongs, 2nd by half a length to Star Quest. Before that, 2nd by 3/4 length to Prince Roy. And before that, when looking the winner, was caught by Mark My Identity, who overcame being hindered to win that race. So freshened up for this I'm Outstanding naturally has some pace, definitely improving, and once that last run wasn't nothing too serious, this I'm Outstanding should be in here with a good shot of pulling this off. The 9, Star Aura, Robert Haldane riding for Jason DaCosta. Came off a long break 2 starts back, going 5.5 furlongs, and was an easy 9.5 length winner. Slow time, but was very relaxed at the finish. Came back a week later, up in class, 6 furlongs, way off the pace, finished 3rd by 9 lengths to a very improved The Leviticus. Dreamer's Corner was 2nd there. Star Aura was slow out of the gate on that occasion, and back a week later, so a very quick return. Jason DaCosta is the master, and this Star Aura, highly thought of filly, definitely in here with a good shot of setting the record straight. And the 11, Diesel Train. Ishmael Velasquez, riding here for Peter John Passad. 3 starts to date, 2nd in the last 2 starts. Last time out 5 furlong round, 2nd by a short hit to Almastilis. Before that was 2nd by a length and a half to Ralph's Treasure, having Hazelnut behind. So useful imported gelding, better for his last 2 races. Good jockey in the saddle, Ishmael Velasquez. And this Diesel Train probably comes alive this time around and catches them if the pace sets up perfectly for him. Going to throw a long shot in your exotics. I see a 50-1 that looks really tempting if the pace collapses, and that's going to be Royal Maverick. Siobhan Townsend claiming 2 kilos for Patrick Lynch. Useful horse, but lacks early pace. Last time out at a mile, 5th by 8 3/4 lengths to Princess Chris. Before that at 7.5 furlongs, 4th by 7 3/4 lengths to Alchemy of Soul. So is capable, very useful, busy at exercise, and if he gets a nice fast pace in front of him, he will be finishing really fast, especially if he gets a nice run on the rail. Patrick Lynch has now put the figure 8 back on. So this is my outsider to keep an eye on in this event. But this is a very tricky race. I don't really want to stick my neck out on who I think will win. The 7th race. This is the rich $6 million Chairman's Plate. 3 and up, overnight allowance. Grade 3. 12 starters. They go 9 furlongs and 25 yards. Going to boil this race down to 4. They're going to do the 5, Run Julie Run. The 6, Divine Force. The 8, Sheer Delight. And the 10, Blue Vinyl. Okay, Run Julie Run. Javier Castellano in the saddle here for Ian Passad. Top rated local bred filly. Winner of this race last year, so she's the defending champion. Has run good races this season. Only 2 wins for the season. Her last win was at this distance back in April, when winning by 2 1/4 lengths from Inspired Force and Neo Star, but has faced the best horses in the country since. Was 4th by 5 lengths to Commandant and Atomica, then was 2nd by a length and 3/4 to Horse of the Year Fun Can Done, was 2nd to the Sprint Champion Desert of Malibu at 7.5 furlongs, was 4th to Ride All Day, then was 2nd at a mile to Is That a Fact, last time out in the Jamaica Cup. Brave effort there, finishing 3rd by a length and 3/4 to Mojito. So big class relief here for this Run Julie Run. Loves the 2-turn races, working very well coming into this event, and she looks well equipped to defend her title. Looks like the horse that they're all going to have to beat. The 6, Divine Force. Dane Nelson riding for Anthony Nunes. 3rd by 5.5 lengths last time out to Digital One at this level. Coming from off the pace. Tends to prefer to be earlier in his races. 9 furlongs and 25 yards. I can't remember the last time this horse went 2 turns, so it's going to be a little question sign for Divine Force, but is a pacey sort. His last time going 9 furlongs, which was out the chute, was an easy winner when making all the running to win by 2.5 lengths from Gervano. So I don't think the distance is going to have a problem. Going to be a more relaxed pace for this Divine Force. We'll have speed in front though, because Neo Star is present, who's definitely going to flash speed, so too Unruly Mo. So does have tactical speed, can start the pace, is coming in very heavy, 126 pounds. The tongue tie is off. So removed from the last run. So Divine Force, if he runs well going 2 turns and not too pressured in the early fractions, Divine Force is in here to put in a big run even from the head of the scales. The 8, Sheer Delight. Christopher Mamdine riding here for Ian Alexander. Disappointed in Jamaica Cup, finished 6 by 11 lengths. Ridden by Shane Ellis there, carrying 122 pounds. But has run good races in the past. Last win was back in April, going 8 furlongs. When beating Rhythm Buzz, was 3rd by 6 3/4 lengths to Fun Can Done and Run Julie Run, was 2nd going 7.5 furlongs in the Poor Little Rich Girl to Ride All Day, having Rhythm Buzz behind there. Finished 4th to Mojito at this distance in the Kenneth Mattitz, coming from far off the pace. So this time around, going to definitely have a nice strong pace in front of Sheer Delight, and if Mamdine settles him off the fractions, even with the big weight, should be finishing pretty strong in the stretch. Definitely giving him a shot to run a brave race. The 10, Blue Vinyl. Now this Blue Vinyl, very good sort, loves 2-turn races. Comes in with top weight 126 pounds. Radish Roman riding here for Gary Sobrati. The last win was at this distance in the Royal Dad Trophy, winning by 12 lengths. Facing much lesser lights in that race, but has run against the best horses. Was 3rd by 3 1/4 lengths, going 9 furlongs and 25 yards in the Distinctly Irish, which was a grade 1 race, behind Gervano and Fun Can Done, coming from off the pace, which is not generally the style of Blue Vinyl. He tends to want to start the pace, especially going 2 turns, and even from the head of the scales. Once all things are right with Blue Vinyl, if he comes in here sound, he's going to put in his usual honest effort. So those are the 4 things it comes down to. The defending champion looks really good though. Run Julie Run, top filly. Definitely, in my opinion, the class horse of the event. She's the horse to beat. You want to throw a horse in for your high 5. I'm going to give that to the Derby winner, I Dream Again. Robert Haldane riding for Jason DaCosta. Has disappointed since his Derby runs. At 7.5 furlongs was 12 by 18 lengths to Unspun. Then was 12 by 14 lengths at a mile to Is That a Fact. Last time out 6 furlongs, which was I think a warm-up run. Finished 11 by 12 lengths. Didn't look too fluent at exercise recently. Was ridden for the last 2 furlongs in the gallop. But he's known to be not an exercise horse, this I Dream Again. And now getting 2 turns first time since the Derby. I think he's going to appreciate it. Does have good stalking pace, and if the right I Dream Again turns up, he could be the fly in the ointment. So be careful of that one. The 8th race. This is the Legend Wisinko Group Trophy. native bred 4-year-olds and up nominals of 3, and imported 4-year-olds and up nominals of 2. A field of 13. They go 7 furlongs, Boiling's down to 4. They're going to be the 2, Amazing Force, the 6, Buttercup, the 8, Princess Fiani, and the 12, Wicked Cassie. Okay, Amazing Force. Champion jockey Radish Roman riding here for Anthony Baba Nunes. Last time out, not a bad run on the 22nd of November, 5 furlongs road. Finished 4th by a length and 3/4, coming from off the pace to Lone Speed stablemate Smart Trick. So much better for that run. 7 furlongs, stretching him out now. Don't think it's going to be a problem. Did have a win last year, 6.5 furlongs coming from off the pace to win by 3 lengths over Come Home to Me and Run Julie Run. So Amazing Force getting his act together. Looking good at exercise, and if that Amazing Force turns up, this probably may not be a race. The 6, Buttercup. Jerome Ennis riding here for Omar Williams. 5th by 8 lengths last time out to Midnight Galaxy at 7.5 furlongs. Last win was at 7 furlongs for non-winners of 2, winning by 5 lengths from Successful Man. Not the most consistent horse, but capable amongst these, and that last run was for a million claimer. So is stepping down in class, in my opinion, and coming in with 116 pounds coming down in class. Going to definitely give Buttercup a shot here. And the distance look like it's right up her alley. Buttercup in here with a good shot. The 8, Princess Fiani. Tevin Foster for Omar Williams. So this is Omar Williams' other horse in the event. Has some pace. Was second last time out by a length and a quarter to Galloping Develops at 6 furlongs. Before that, at 7 furlongs, tried to make all the running, but faded to finish 3rd by 10 lengths to the vastly improved Shooting Star. Wicked Cassie was second there. So is one of the pacier horses in the race. Tevin Foster retains the ride. Kept busy at exercise, and going to be one of the horses on the headlines, squeezing Princess Fiani in here to put in a brave effort. But the horse I think they're going to all have to beat is going to be the 12, Wicked Cassie, Dane Nelson for Patrick Lynch. Last time out 5 furlongs straight, short for Wicked Cassie, but that looked like a tune-up run. Closed 5 lengths from the quarter pole to finish 8 by 5 lengths to Dream to Reality. Last run at 7 furlongs was second by 8 lengths to an out-of-class Shooting Star, had Princess Fiani behind, and was slow out the gate that day. Was a good run at a mile on the 20th of September, finishing 3/4 length behind Unruly Dawn. Had Shooting Star behind there. So looking at this race, the field, the pace setup, it looked like it fits perfectly for this Wicked Cassie, and I think she's the horse they're going to all have to beat. For the exotic players who want to throw a long shot in their bets, I'm going to use the 7, 1991, Happy Force, Javanil Patterson riding here. Patrick Taylor. Good run last time out at 6 furlongs, coming from off the pace, finishing 5th by 6 3/4 lengths in that same race with Galloping Develops. Before that, over the straight course, prominent early, faded to finish 8 by 9 lengths to Indestructible. 7.5 furlongs back on September 7th. Disappointing run, but he went too fast too early. He went to the lead. Not his style. Finished 10 by 30 lengths to Train of Thought. But before that, had 6 furlongs, start the pace and finish 5th by 2 3/4 lengths to Come Home to Me. So if Javanil Patterson decides to rate Happy Force how he likes to run, sitting off the pace, 7 furlongs, don't think it's too much of a stretch. I think we might get a very good run at a big price from this Happy Force. So I'll squeeze him in my exotics. The 9th race, this is the main event trophy. Native bred 4-year-olds and up numbers of 4, and imported 4-year-olds and up numbers of 3. Big field of 16, they go 6.5 furlongs, 1 down to 4. They're going to be 1, Brenda Boy, the 6, Unruly Dawn, the 7, Riches to Rags, and the 15, Blue Sensation. Okay, Brenda Boy, Robert Halladine for Jason DaCosta. Very consistent, but unlucky. Colt always finds his run late, and when he does go early, he tends to burn himself out. 6.5 furlongs, looks a little short for him, but definitely is very fit and probably gets a good strong pace in front of him in this event and could definitely turn up and pull this off and bring Mr. Watson closer to the record held by my grandfather Cecil Charlton, a 48-year-old record of 43 wins for the season. So this will push him closer if he gets the job done here. I think he has another horse in the race, so has a strong chance. But I think Brenda Boy, if getting a strong pace, will capitalize and come charging at them late. The 6, Unruly Dawn. Shane Ellis up for Oral Hayden. Very fit right now, this Unruly Dawn. One represents one of the pace factors of the race. Last time out, tried to make all the running, but was outkicked in the stretch by Shooting Star and passed by the flying Brenda Boy. Before that, tried the same thing at a mile, tried to make all the running, but was beaten by Crown Chaser. Had Brenda Boy 2 lengths behind in that race. 6.5 furlongs, might be more to his liking. Last time close to this distance was back in August when going 6 furlongs when coming from off the pace and only lost by 3/4 a length to come home to me and a breath of fresh air. So I think 6.5 not going to be a problem. Does have nice early pace and is in here with a good shot, getting the job done. The 7, a horse I really like in the race, Riches to Rags. Shaheem Garden claiming 3 kilos here for Lincoln Lungs. Was formerly trained by Philip Fiani, but has changed stables and owners. Last run was back in September, 5 furlongs straight, finishing third by 4 lengths to Come Home to Me and Play Fair. Before that was third by 13 lengths to Rocket Fire Seb, won by 9 3/4 lengths. 6.5 furlongs, I think, is right up the alley of this Riches to Rags. This horse likes to sit off it, more of a mid-closer, not a deep closer, but a mid-pack closer, but definitely likes it if there is a strong pace in front of her, and working well coming into this race. Had a 7 furlong breezing 1:33 and 3, so definitely fit and ready. The tongue tie is on. Once again, the tongue tie was off the last 2 starts. Does run well with the tongue tie. Has faced way better than these. Has raced, finished third to Ride All Day, was fourth to Incredible Joe, second to Prince Aman, third to Supernatural Power. So has faced much better. Was second to Zulu Warrior, who is improving rapidly. So at 25-1, that looks like a good value for money. Good shot for this Riches to Rags. And the 15, Blue Sensation. Now, Blue Sensation, also a similar running style to Brenda Boy, but will be a lot closer to the pace than Brenda Boy, but does come with her best run in the final 2 furlongs. Last time out, 7 furlongs, fourth by 2 lengths after being second by a head at the furlong pull in that same race with Shooting Star and Brenda Boy. Was third by 5 lengths to Goodbye Firefly at 5.5 furlongs, and was second by 6 lengths to Macanoom going 7 furlongs. Ishmael Velasquez has a rider for Peter John Passad, also working well coming into the race, and as if I expect the pace to be fairly warm, and it should suit this Blue Sensation's running style of coming late. Outsider to keep your eye on though in this event is going to be the 2, Miss Sherry. Interestingly, with Miss Sherry, she represents one of 2 sprinter pace horses in the race. She and Galloping Develos, but Galloping Develos coming to this class. So Miss Sherry has the class behind her and does have that sprinter pace, which is going to make her dangerous. TJ Suko will claim 3 kilos for Richard Azan. She's running fairly well and consistent. 6.5 looks a stretch, but in a race that she possibly might be the sprinter pace in the race, she possibly gets to the lead. The last time they allowed her to get to the lead was at 7 furlongs when making all the running and beating Zulu Warrior and Jay Spieth. So if that happens this time around for this Miss Sherry and she's allowed to go in front and dictate terms, working well coming to this race, she could prove a very elusive target. So very competitive race. Gambling wise, I definitely going to take a chance and buy a win and place bet with Riches to Rags. But I think Brenda Boy, I think this is perfect race for Brenda Boy. The 10th race, the $14.4 million Bruce on the Loose Sprint Trophy, 3-year-old and up stakes for grade 1 horses, 6.5 furlongs and a field of 12. When the boil this down to 4, they're going to be the 2, Desert of Malibu, the 3, Wall Street Trader, the 11, Is That a Fact, and the 12, Offer Revolution. Okay, Desert of Malibu, Dane Nelson riding here for Gary Sobrati, the reigning sprint queen at Caymanas Park. She was the champion sprinter last year. Missed out on the Mout Mile this year. Has only 1 win this season. That was winning by 7 lengths at 7.5 furlongs, beating Run Julie Run and the Divine Force. Came back and was beaten a short head at a mile when looking the likely win at the furlong pole by Horse of the Year Fun Can Done. Last time out was in the Port Royal Sprint when trying to steal home, but was caught and beaten by Ride All Day at 6 furlongs. So 6.5 furlongs, not a problem for the Sprint Queen. Worked well coming here, 1:02 and 1. And one thing for sure is that Desert of Malibu will use her class and her strong pace to definitely fight this out. The 3, Wall Street Trader, Javier Castellano in the saddle here for Juan Mati. Disappointed last time out in the poor little rich girl going 7.5 furlongs, but 7.5 is a stretch for Wall Street trader. He tends to prefer 6 to 6.5 furlongs. Beaten by Ride All Day that day, was a winner in the Hall of Fame Stakes by a half a length, beating Legacy Isle, the Gold Cup winner. Had Pack Plays, his stablemate, behind in third, but was only carrying a mere 103 pounds that day. But does perform when fit and does look fit. Has a workout coming in here, 5.5 in 108 and 2. Up in the scales though, up to 122 pounds, but does have the services of Hall of Famer Javier Castellano, and should be stalking that pace, and if they crumble in the lane, should be right there when this is being decided. The 11, Is That a Fact? Now, Is That a Fact? Very, very tricky horse. He will turn up and put in a big run, and then he'll come in and then decides not to perform. Well-bred, son of Palace Malice, Tevin Foster riding for Jason DeCosta and Carlton Watson. As I said, Carlton Watson is right in range to equal my granddad's 48-year-old record. So, Is That a Fact? Recent one at overnight allowance, 8 furlongs, when stalking and then running on to beat Run Julie Run. Last time out though was in the Port Royal, 6 furlongs. Didn't really put in a punch, finished 6 by 11 lengths to Ride All Day and Desert of Malibu. But when at his best, and this distance is right up his alley, working well, has a nice 5.5 in 107, 116 pounds, so it's fairly light. Is That a Fact? Once he turns up in the right frame of mind, should definitely have a shot of fighting this out. But in all honesty, the horse I like in the event is the 12, Of a Revolution, Radish Roman riding for Anthony Nunes. Now, I've seen this horse run at Gulfstream Park and was even in a race where he finished second and ran in front of his stablemate, and who was the favourite that day, Nautical Star. Is the sprinter of the two in my opinion, but this horse has a terrific turn of foot in the stretch. Very headstrong horse though. I think Radish is going to have to really get him to relax early in the race, because he will try to drag Radish to the front. And he's not really a horse that wants to go in front, but he does have that energy coming out of the gates. If you watch some of his replays at Gulfstream Park, the jockeys really have to get a hold of him, but has worked brilliantly coming into this race. Had a 4 furlong straight workout in 45.1, pulled up in 58.3, and then 5.5 in 106.2. I think I saw that workout. Radish Roman's fighting him the whole race, and he's still putting that very, very good work. So if all goes well for this Of a Revolution, I think that's the horse they're going to have to beat, even from the head of the scales. The 11th and final, the big one, the Mout Mile Invitational, 3 and up, Grade 1 stakes, big field of 15, $300,000 purse. They go a mile. And bear with me, talk about the 7 horses that I think legitimately going to fight this race out, and I will pick who I think will win. Don't attack me in the comments. They're going to be the 1, Fun Can Done, the 4, Legacy Isle, the 5, Dothraki, Nautical Star, the 8, Supernatural Power, the 11, Ride All Day, and you all know I got to squeeze in Gervano. Okay, Fun Can Done, Horse of the Year and defending Mout Mile winner. Looking to be the first horse to defend the Mout Mile title and win it. None of the previous winners have been back, so if Fun Can Done does it, he'll be the first. Robert Halladine for Jason DeCosta. Burdened by top weight all season, but has won 2 races. Last time out in the Jamaica Cup. I didn't think everything, as one of the stablemates, H2O, died before the running of the race, so I think the planned attack of that race fell apart. 4th by 3.5 lengths to Mojito and the stablemate Gervano. Now has the figure 8 on and has worked brilliantly coming into this race. And Fun Can Done could well defend his title and pull this off. The 4, Legacy Isle, Misael Aramilo is back to ride Legacy Isle for Rowan Crichton. Narrowly defeated last year. Could have won that race, a prep race, and was injured in the trailer a few days before the Mout Mile. Has been a picture of power, but all in sprint races. Stretched out to 7 furlongs in the Gold Cup and prevailed with 123 pounds, beating Ride All Day and company. A lot of people saying this is a sprinter, but I've seen this horse win multiple mile and 70 yards at Gulfstream Park. So I don't think a mile is a problem here. And Legacy Isle, as one of the strong pace horses in the race, definitely will fight this out. The 5, Dothraki, Jerome Unis riding for Jason, 26 pounds. Interesting that Jason puts up a very lightweight jockey and going to have 20 plus pounds of lead in the saddle. They've put on the visors on the figure 8. So that's telling me that Dothraki is going to make sure that is kept honest on that headline and possibly might slip away from pack play, leaving that half mile, and could be the horse they have to catch turning for home. Morning line says 25-1. Big works coming into this race. Dothraki, do not sleep on that one. The horse they're going to have to beat is going to be Nautical Star. This Nautical Star, Radish Roman has opted to ride this horse. He has won on several horses in this race. He has one on Supernatural Power, has one on Gurvano, and has on Legacy Isle, but has opted for Nautical Star, who has faced way better horses than these. Was 9th in the Florida Derby to Forte. Forte was the favourite in the Belmont Stakes when beaten into second by a mount ridden by Javier 2023. Javier Castellano that year also won the Derby on a different horse. So Nautical Star has faced much better, working brilliantly since coming to Jamaica, and although would prefer a run on the surface in a race before, a mile, just about gets a mile I think, and looks like the horse they're going to all have to beat. The 8 Supernatural Power, this name fits this very super filly, nice burly grey filly, built like a coolness once again in the saddle. Philip Fiani is the handicap horse in the race with 112 pounds. Very good win last time out at a mile in 136-2 behind Fast Fractions. Could have won the Gold Cup if the Cardenas had to weave his way through horses to find a clear path on the rail, and finished only a length off of the leaders. So definitely Supernatural Power, a filly with a ton of ability. Wouldn't surprise at the handicaps if she wins the Mout mile. 11 stablemate of Supernatural Power, that is Ride All Day. Javier Castellano riding here for Philip Fiani. Only 2 losses in this impressive colt's career. First time beaten by Unspun, and then next with Paul Francis beaten by Legacy Isle. Undefeated with Ian Spence. So this horse takes kindly to our tender handlings. So I hope Javier Castellano, who is an aggressive rider, doesn't rough up Ride All Day too much. Coming in 119 pounds, talented grey colt, and Ride All Day will once again put in big performance this Ride All Day. And I can't leave out my favourite horse in racing, that's Gurvano. Tevin Foster riding here for James. This horse has gone from strength to strength. The only thing stopping this horse from being a perfect horse in my eyes is his pace. Lacks early pace, but does have a tremendous late run, and looks like he's going to get a strong pace up front, and if able to maneuver his way through, leaving that half-mile pole, and the speedsters run themselves into the ground, this will be the horse that will be picking up the pieces late. And 10-1, very tempting price. I'm definitely putting a ticket on Gurvano. So my personal bet that I'm going to buy Gurvano on top of Legacy Isle, Nautical Star, then wheel it with Fun Candon, Dothraki, Ride All Day, and Supernatural Power. But off a reading and a logical bet, not sentimental, I think I'd key Nautical Star on top of Legacy Isle, Supernatural Power, then wheel Ride All Day, Fun Candon, and Gurvano. So I hope we have some luck. And glitching in this, I'm sorry this video is so long, but it's a lot of races, a lot of horses. Hope we have some luck. And as always, guys, stay safe.